Yo, 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 people and patrons of the night. It is your boy, BD, the host of the Horror Tavern, and welcome back once again as we explore the limitless cavern of the horror genre. Take a seat and grab a drink because we're going to be venturing into reviewing the third installment in the Amazon Original Stories Creature Feature Short Story Collection. And the third entry, the third short story in this collection is It Waits in the Woods by Josh Malerman. Josh Malerman is a pretty well-known horror author because he wrote Bird Box, a very popular book which got adapted into a very popular movie starring Sandra Bullock. So shout out to Josh Malerman. He's known for some very well-known stuff, and I think there are some sequels to Bird Box as well. And this is his entry into the Creature Feature short story collection on Amazon. And this one, as the title says, deals with a creature in the woods, specifically an urban legend taking place in a specific part of the woods in central Michigan, I believe. So, It Waits in the Woods is, excuse me, talking about an urban legend involving the woods by the Yucatania National Forest Preserve. And in the Yucatania National Forest Preserve, a bunch of the kids, adults, and superstitious folk have come up with this urban legend about this bridge, this very old bridge that's out there in the woods. And it started off as a campfire tale, and most people would have chalked it up to just being a campfire tale, an urban legend. But people think that it's a little bit strange that everybody has the exact same details regarding it, and it's such a weird, out of the place urban legend story. Most people would have talked about like a witch in the woods with her own cabin, or maybe like a maniac slasher out there killing teenagers with a knife. But no, instead they talk about this old white decrepit bridge that's out there in the woods, and it's got some yellow carvings on it. And it's said to be that there is a creature, monster, or as most people believe, demon imp that's out there in the woods named Opso, O-P-S-O. Opso is a demon imp that basically guards and lives by this decrepit old white bridge, and it's said to have no face. It's supposed to be a faceless demon that is always wailing and crying and moaning and screaming for it to get over, and get back its face. It wails over the fact that it has no face. And in fact, there's a lot of children that have gone missing that people chalk up as your normal disappearances in the woods. A lot of people go missing in the woods for unknown circumstances. They chalk it up to kids being stupid, maybe some teenagers out there getting drunk or doing some wrong things and they get lost. But then one day in these woods, the Yucatania Forest Preserve, they found a hunter who had his face eaten off down to the bone, completely mauled and ripped up. His chest cavity and neck was ripped open, and again, it was showing his bare red skull as his entire face was eaten off. And people start to get a little bit freaked out, and after that, there's one time a case involving the disappearance of a 14-year-old girl named Amanda, which was completely mysterious, and nobody knows what happened. And this disappearance took place years after this urban legend of the Opso, faceless demon was sort of dying down. And after this disappearance happens, the urban legend sparks up back again, involving these woods of the forest preserve. And the main character in the story is a girl named Brenda, and Brenda is Amanda's younger sister. Amanda had gone missing because Brenda and Amanda sort of have a unique relationship between each other. Brenda is very much a film kind of producer. She loves recording homemade videos. She loves making sort of like movies and stuff on her camera. She's got microphones, she's got equipment, and she makes these sort of slice of life teenage films starring her sister because she thinks her sister Amanda's beautiful, charming, talented, and could go places. And a lot of people around the town that she knows really love these films that Brenda produces. And she does her own amateur, filmmaking, and she went to film school, so she always stars her sister in them. And one night, they basically go out into the woods with some of their friends, and Brenda's looking after Amanda, and she's obviously filming and recording her. And then next thing you know, Amanda goes missing. And when Brenda comes back, she doesn't know what happened to Amanda. She just lost her. And her parents, being pieces of shit, basically end up essentially blaming Brenda for losing her sister. And they basically claim because you looked away from her, because you weren't keeping track of her in those woods, that's why she disappeared. And they basically publicly announced this on the news. It hurts Brenda's feelings. She has a hard time after that. And next thing you know, you cut to 4 years later, when now Brenda is 18. She's got her own apartment, her own life, and she decides, you know what, I owe it to my missing sister. I owe it to the people to go out there and actually find answers, because of my parents, people are accusing me. People think that it might be a mysterious disappearance. They don't really know the truth. And she decides that after hearing people, 4 years ago, during the reports, talk about this urban legend of the faceless demon Opso, she starts to think in the back of her head that maybe there is some validity behind it. And again, some years before this disappearance of Amanda, people treated it as a real life, kind of like cryptid that's very, very popular. Much like you seeing the statue of Mothman. Like Mothman's got his own statue with a fantastic ass. That motherfucker is packing a perfect gluteus maximus on that statue. I don't know why they got him caked up, double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, but they do. Mothman statues out there. You got Bigfoot statues. You probably got Jersey Devil statues. This is a famous cryptid urban legend in this remote town in the woods. So now this urban legend is sparked up all over again. She decides, you know what, there might be some validity behind it. Maybe there's some truth behind this urban legend. So she decides, I'm going to go on my own and I'm going to try to find this bridge and try to record and film and get some answers as to what may have happened to my sister Amanda, who she pretty much presumes is dead by this point, but she just wants to get some closure on the potential culprit and the murder mystery / disappearance mystery in this case. So she goes and packs up all of her film equipment. She's got cameras, she's got microphones, she's got GPS systems, she's got maps, and she takes her mother's gun, takes her tent, takes rationed food and bottles of water, and heads out there into the Yucatania Forest Preserve. She drives out there, and she's a very smart main character. Not only does she have like a GPS system, but then she'll screenshot her GPS system gradually to keep track of where she is in case her GPS were to shut off. And then in case her phone were to have problems or shut off, she takes, and draws pictures of the area around her. She's got a backup generator to power all of her electronics. She rations her food well. She uses her microphone and filmography to pick up on different clues and stuff. Very smart girl. And of course, she's packing that blick stick. That shit go bang, bang. Gotta have the blick stick with you out in the woods, man. So she's very smart, very detailed. And as she starts venturing through these woods to try to locate this potential bridge, she decides, I'm going to start recording and basically making a film, because she thinks that she can probably get photo and auditory evidence of this bridge and potentially Opso, the faceless demon, existing. So she thinks as long as I can get the evidence, then that would allow me to then have proof to bring back to the police, to bring back to the people, and sort of plead my case. And as she's venturing out in the woods and the days continue, she starts hearing some distant cries, some noises, some potential screaming out there. And she thinks that she might be, tripping. There might be some wild animals out there. There might be something out there that's causing it. And of course, she's got her film on and she's recording everything. And then eventually she does happen to find what seems to be this white bridge with these yellow carvings. And as she sets up a microphone and sets up a tripod camera with her tent close by, she starts to pick up on some things, some quite scary things. She thinks that the microphone might pick up on some hooves that are smacking up against the bridge. She thinks she can see this kind of hollow, this cave made out of moss and branches, just kind of makeshift, and she thinks that something may be in there. She thinks that she might see a silhouette of a figure in there when she's taking her camera and recording. And eventually she walks past the bridge and goes into that hollow cave. and that's where shit starts to pop off. She starts finding out some things. She starts seeing some crazy shit. She gets a revelation about somebody as she enters the cave, and it's a pretty, I guess, intense, action-packed escape to try to find out a way to potentially get out of these woods alive without being a victim to whatever this source of the urban legend found it. And that's where I'm going to leave the plot description. So, It Waits in the Woods by Josh Malerman. What do I think about the story? This is another, I would say, very good short story. I mean, very good to borderline great short story. It's creepy. I love the urban legend stuff involving the woods. The idea of there being this old rickety bridge out in the woods with this faceless demon called Opso out there. The descriptions of it, the idea of it, basically always crying and wailing over its lost face and then searching for somebody's face. The idea of its victims, coming back completely mauled and ripped up and all of them having their faces eaten is very creepy. The perspective of, Brenda is pretty sympathetic and relatable to the main character. She's got this passion of filmmaking. She's basically thrown under the bus by her parents and put into a bad spot, despite the fact that she lost her beloved sister and she's suffering, and she decides to have the courage to go up there out in the woods, take charge, and try to bring justice. Even if she knows that her sister may be dead, she thinks that she owes it to the town and the people, and most importantly herself, to reveal and unveil the mystery of what happened in those woods. So that's very strong. I like the fact that she is a well-written, strong female character, even in this short story / novella length thing. I think she's a great main character to follow. And one of the most fascinating and coolest things about the short story is the fact that a lot of it involves Brenda having a camera out and recording herself, recording her equipment, recording the forest, and trying to film and also use microphones to get auditory evidence of this urban legend or this faceless demon. That to me felt like I was reading like a found footage script. It felt like, as I was imagining the story, I imagined it as a found footage movie, either whether it be a full found footage movie or in my case I imagined it as like a partial found footage story. If they were made to make this into a movie, you could have normal movie shots, and then as soon as she picks up the camera, it goes into the found footage. You could do stuff like that. It'd be pretty cool. I think that this would make, honestly, a great found footage either segment or movie to make. Maybe just add some stuff and flesh it out. I think, Josh Malerman, he got his Bird Box book adapted. You could adapt this into a found footage thing. Make it good, because I love the idea that as I'm reading the story, it feels like I'm watching part of a found footage movie. Just imagining her finding different stuff in the woods, hearing these distant cries, seeing some scary things, and when you get to the climax, she definitely sees some horrifying stuff, and it's very intense, very creepy, and I like a lot of that. So this is, again, like the previous story I talked about, and honestly, even The Pram by Joe Hill. I think all three of the stories I've read so far could be adapted into the big screen in some way. I think this one and Ankle Snatcher could be made into actual movies, and The Pram, maybe you can make it into like a short segment, an episode segment, or whatever. I think it'd be great. So this is a very cool perspective to get. I've never read a story where it feels like I'm watching something found footage, or in this case, reading something found footage. So it's got a lot of cool style. The story is very simple, which is why I don't really want to give it specifically a higher score, just because I think that it's a simple tale. Yes, it's creepy. Yes, it's scary, without a doubt. I like the urban legend stuff. I like the way it's written, but it just felt a little too on the nose, kind of basic at points. The climax is good. I like the stuff involving the climax, and I like the forest setting. So overall, this is a very good story. I appreciate it. I like it. In terms of the score I would give it, I would probably give this short story probably like an 8.6 out of 10. This is a very good short story. Maybe I'll increase the score over time, but I think an 8.6 to an 8.8 out of 10 is pretty good for this short story. It's a very good one. It's a little too simple at points for me to make it great, and there are some things that I would want, but it's super creepy, super effective. It's intense at certain points. And again, if you're like me, imagine reading this story whenever Brenda picks up the camera as switching to a found footage angle. And when you do that, it's going to improve your experience. It's going to immerse you within the story and make it more fun. So overall, yeah, very good short story. And so far in this creature feature collection, I'm officially 50% through it. I've liked all of them so far, to varying degrees, but I've liked them all nonetheless, liked and loved them. So far it's pretty good. I got 3 more stories left, so I'm going to be reviewing those today. As you guys saw, I'm going to be recording these 2. So since I'm working late tomorrow, I'm probably going to upload I'm going to upload the next 2 stories on Thursday, and then I'll do the last one on Friday. And maybe I'll do a ranking video on that same day. If not, I'll do it on Saturday. That's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know what I'm about to say. Hit that subscribe button down below and hit that like button. It's free. Lets me know you guys enjoyed. And if you don't, the Faceless Demon or Kim K. Ass Mothman is going to come after you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more content to come. And yeah, that's all I got for today. Deuces. Faceless Demon, bruh. Yeah, that's what I used to think about my ex-girlfriend, Felicia. Every time she takes off her makeup, that bitch was pulling off a new face, bruh. And that shit was scary.